parties, you predicted a much higher level of participation.
Human nature does not obey the laws of politics. What the hell is going on?
They all ex-military. Something funky going down, D.
You're sending soldiers into the island disguised as citizens.
This country needs for this to work.
No one's coming to help us. After tonight, nothing will ever be the same again.
It's the fourth Purge, but it's the first Purge. The prequel that takes us back to where the whole thing started, now in theaters.
Yes, I'm Christy and Alonso.
Hey.
Hi. So it's a Purge-quel. In case you're wondering how we got into the world that we are in the Purge, the first Purge, we'll explain it to you. And it takes place only on Staten Island. Staten Island is like our test case for what happens when they allow people to work through their frustration and their anger and how socioeconomically oppressed they are, and they just are allowed to kill whoever they want or commit any crime they want. We see a multitude of crimes taking place here, not just murder, although it's a very violent and bloody movie.
Where's all the male fraud during the Purge?
People do people do have sex though in public.
Yes.
There is sex in public, so that sounds like a fun way to purge. Other people find other methods. So. It's funny because the Purge movies keep getting better.
They do.
And going back to the beginning is even better. And again, we were talking about Sorry to Bother You a little bit ago, and the relevant and vital ideas it explores, and that is very true here as well.
Yeah, no, I got some blowback on Twitter when I suggested that the first Purge should totally be part of the conversation with Sorry to Bother You and Blind Spotting.
Yes.
Because I think these are all really provocative films about America's horrible history with black people, and by history I mean including right this second. And so this movie really addresses the notion of, in the same way that you had heroin and guns and then later crack kind of funneled into poorer neighborhoods, this is literally like go out there and kill each other. And if you won't do it, we're gonna send people in to kill you.
Right, it is to, I mean, they don't make any bones about it. Like, it's to thin the population. That's not a spoiler. It's not just to create national peace. It is to eradicate this country of people that the government feels are less than or are a burden, or
because the first,
you don't want to look at them even.
Because the first Purge movie, for all of its flaws, centers on a rich family
in suburbia.
That got rich selling other people security systems to keep purgers out. And so then this is a movie that kind of works backward to take you that no, the Purge is really just designed to winnow out the poor, you know, and like if you can afford to protect yourself, great, and if you can't, well, then you were to drain anyway.
Right, and so the way that they get these people to purge in Staten Island is that they're offering like $5,000 incentives for people to just stay on Staten Island. Just if you stay, if you don't go to Brooklyn or Manhattan or wherever, if you just stay, you get some money. But if you take part, you get even more money. And the people who are saying yes to this are the ones who need that money desperately, and they are, without exception, black and brown people living specifically in these projects. They want to use these projects, these towers in Staten Island, as like ground zero for the mayhem. And when that doesn't play out the way that they necessarily expect that it will, things really escalate. And it's terrifying. I mean, the protests that take place in the streets in the daylight hours prior to the Purge beginning look every bit like protests we are seeing nationwide right now. It is not hyperbole, it is not exaggeration, it's not amped up in any way. It's who we are now in this world.
Yeah, I mean, this is on its face a sort of schlocky B-movie prequel, but in the way that a lot of B-movies have over the years, it's about stuff. And it messages in a way that sort of more mainstream, respectable movies probably couldn't get away with. But it's really direct and it's really damning. I like this movie a lot. I think it totally, I mean, it's a bit of a slow burn because the purging doesn't start happening until the second half of the movie. So if you're there for the mayhem, you have a lot of setup to deal with.
If you have your own purge you want to enjoy.
Exactly.
It's gonna come for a while.
But as far as like kind of honing in on the political subtext of what this series has kind of always been about, you know, I mean, the last one was election year. Like they're very clearly not running away from that. You know, Blumhouse, they are the studio that made Get Out, so they are clearly sort of interested in trafficking in these, like, let's work some ideas into these blood and guts movies.
Yeah, Gerard McMurray directed this time. It's a big cast, but a couple of the stars of it are Yolande Noel, who is the drug dealer with a heart of gold.
Yes.
Who at first views the Purge as an opportunity to protect his fiefdom,
right.
you know, and increasingly finds that he's got to rethink his plans. And then Lex Scott Davis, who was also a Superfly recently, is the woman who he has a long time relationship with, which is complicated, but she is an activist in town and she's trying to protect her people. And the choices that everybody has to make along the way are difficult, and yet you completely understand where they go and why they go there. Also, Marissa Tomei, I should mention, she's only known as the architect, I believe, is her character's name. I think they don't even give her
you're right.
a name. She is the psychologist who
came up with the idea.
And also is open to the possibility that it might not shake out the way that everybody expects that it will, and we have to go with that because that's science. But the government doesn't like science, so they want to manipulate.
They want a predetermined. And also, I don't want to make this sound like this movie is just a political treatise. It is a very effective action film when it really gets revved up. By the time that Yolande Davis's character is having to storm into the towers.
Yolande Noel.
Sorry, I'm getting wrong. Yolande Noel. It was like I was kind of reminded of The Raid. You know, like he has to go floor by floor, and there's like all this stuff happening.
Or Attack the Block.
Which
you're doing a thing on.
Yes, I just watched again last night. I was like, oh my God. There's a lot of connections there. But I mean, there's an extended sequence where he strangles a soldier who is wearing like a blackface mask, and it's like, okay, movie, you're just going to be about what you're going to be about. I admire that.
Yeah, but you're getting your message across here. Yeah, and again, it's a B movie, but they do a lot really well with camera work, with lighting. There's a sequence where the lights go out in the entire project, but like the flashing strobe.
Yes.
And it's a thing we've seen in a lot of horror movies where like there's a flash and then there's darkness and then there's a flash and then there's darkness, and it can be very effective as far as building tension, and they use that device here very well.
And also the people who are participating in the Purge, so that the government can monitor what they're doing, are wearing these contact lenses with little cameras in them, so it gives them these neon blue kind of
purple,
around their irises, which is really cool. Which it's again, like Attack the Block.
And it's very striking in that the majority of people, all the people who are doing this, are dark skinned, and it's nighttime, and the eyes glow in the middle of it. So it's a really striking effect when they do that. This is better than you think it's going to be, but no, it's not subtle. My number is a 7.4.
7.6.
All right, so 7.5 is our number. It is 49%, you guys. It really is better than that, and I wonder if people just look at it like it's a crappy B movie and not deserving of our serious consideration. But it is surprisingly powerful and hard to watch. So if like gory mayhem is not your thing, then
4 movies in, I think you better know by now whether or not it's your thing.
This is not the nicey nice Purge. Bye.